Today I'm going to share with you how to make a table fan that runs with a 3-volt DC motor. Now this is how the table fan of mine look like. It's really up to you. The basic elements are going to be the same. You might want to use different colors or different decorations, but the idea and the principle and the science behind it is the same. And this is how it works. And of course it moves. You can feel that there is air flowing out, and I think it will be a nice decoration for your desk in summer if you need some air. One thing that you have to keep in mind, this propeller and the blade does not have any protection. Please be careful that if you put your hand close to it, it may hurt you. Please do not put on somebody's ears, face to feel the air. Please be careful on that. You might want to be able to come up with an idea, provide some kind of a cover or some kind of a shield for the fan. That would be fabulous. I put that challenge on you. So I'm going to put this aside. This project or the table fan consists of 3 parts. The first part is the base. The second part is the mechanical part, electrical part of it, the middle part, and the last part is testing it and putting some decorations on it. So I'm going to put this one aside. This is the first part. The base that I chose, I went to Home Depot and I found these tiles that they were discontinued and they were at a less expensive price. So I thought they might be a good idea to use these for 2 reasons. First, they look pretty, and the more important reason that it has some weight on it, so that when your fan is on, the vibration happens, the fan will not move because of the weight of the tile. These tiles, as you can see, they come in different sizes. This is the one that I chose. So what I did, I opened it. If you look at the back side of these tiles, they're all attached together like this. So I took a pencil, I made some designs, and then out of this tile you would be able to get about maybe 5 or 6 bases. I used an X-Acto knife to cut the design that I have. At the end, the designs that I chose would look something like this, or maybe like this. It's really up to you. They don't have to be all the same. Now, because these bases are a little bit loose, I wanted to provide some stronger base for them. So I chose these corkboard, cut them so that this base could fit on it the way that you like it. This fits nicely like this, for example. If you like another color, this could fit like this. And this way you're providing a nice base for the tile so that it won't move. What I would do next, I will pick up scissors and I will trim off the excess materials. One thing that came to my mind that you could do, you could also put some paint on these tiles. It will make it a little bit more colorful, or if you just like it like this, you just leave it the way it is. So once you decide which board you want, use a pencil, and then I would draw the outline of the tile on the board. The reason for that is that once you remove this and then you want to glue the tile, you want to know where to glue it back. So that's what I would do. You are going to use some glue gun and put some glue in the back of your tile, put the tile on your corkboard, press it for a few seconds until it's all secured. I will put this aside and I will talk to you about the second part, which is the mechanical part of your table fan. Now these are the components that you need. A couple cylinders. I bought them from Michael's. They're colorful and they come in a big package. I think maybe 50 of them or so. You don't have to use this. If you have some cardboard and you would like to make another cylinder or so, it's really up to you. You also need a couple of these Discs, they could be just cardboard, maybe round cardboards or square cardboards. This is going to be on the base, and they're going to be glued to the cylinder so that it will be secure. The reason that you need the disc at the bottom is this cylinder needs to be glued on the marble, and the top disc is used for holding the motor on. Again, because it is hollow inside, so you have to provide some support for the motor. So you need your cylinder, you need your two discs, you need a motor. This is a regular 3-volt DC motor. You need a battery holder, and there's an on-off switch that is built with the battery holder. 2 AA batteries, each of them are 1.5 volts, so that will give you 3 volts together, which would be the maximum amount of wattage that the motor can take. And then, as you notice, when I turned on the fan, gives you a nice power to the blades. The battery holders, sometimes you need to skin off some of the insulation, so use a wire stripper to remove the insulation, maybe about ½ inch or so, a couple centimeters or so, that should be fine. And the battery holders come with a lid, so before I continue, I want to make sure that my batteries are good and my motor is good. Place the batteries into the battery holders, and please make sure that the negative side of the battery go to the negative side of the battery holder, and close it. So it does, the battery holder has a positive and negative wires. Just connect it to the motor, turn it on, and you could hear that the motor is working. That means that we're good to go. You also need a propeller for the fan. These are the ones that I got from dollar stores, and then I used the scissors to cut the circle around it. You'll end up with a propeller like this. This propeller used to be like this. I cut the circle around it, and then we ended up with a propeller like this. You could also use these ones if you can find them in some toy stores or so. Again, these are very sharp. Keep that in mind, that they could hurt if you get close to them. A little issue that you have to look after, this is the shaft of the motor, and this has to go inside the propeller. As you can see, it's too loose. So either glue it, use a glue gun to glue the shaft into the propeller. Either this one or this one, really doesn't matter. Sometimes the glue doesn't work best, so what I use is a Q-tip, and use the Q-tips that in the middle is hollow, and this is about maybe 1 centimeter or so. Cut about 1 centimeter and insert it inside your motor. You need to use a little bit of a force to push it in. You can see that this is nice and tight. You don't need to glue gun. I can cut off the extra piece. Then this is nice and secure. I just want to show you the way that it works, and you can see that it spins nicely. Now, one piece of suggestion, this is going counterclockwise now, that the way that I connected the terminals of the battery holder to the motor. But if you want to go counterclockwise, just reverse the terminals counterclockwise. Okay, so I'm going to use this propeller for this experiment. So I'm going to put everything aside. This is the base that I chose. I'm going to put some glue gun on it. Be generous with the glue. Put it on, hold it nicely. So let's mount the motor on. Remember that this is how the motor is going to be mounted. I can show you. So the battery has been glued to the cylinder in the back on the opposite side of the propeller. These two wires from the battery have to be connected to the terminals of the motor. There are two options. Either you could glue your battery on the marble, but sometimes the battery holders come with shorter wires and then you don't have enough. So for that reason, I would like to make a couple holes into the cylinder and then run the wires through the cylinder. So whenever you use your battery holder that has batteries in it and it has a switch, turn it off, because sometimes these two wires accidentally touch each other and they're going to drain your battery or create some smoke or so, which is not safe. So I'm going to make a couple holes here. For that you can use an X-Acto knife. What I will use, I'll just use the scissors, make a couple holes just like this. What I would do is run the wires of my battery through these holes. I will pull them out from inside the cylinder. So these two wires are coming out and they have a nice amount of space, enough for they have enough wires so that it could connect to the motor. So this is a good place for the battery to be glued. In case if you wanted to change this battery, all you need to do is just push this up and you can change the battery, and then slide the lid on and then it will be fine. So these are my two holes, or one hole if you prefer, and then I don't need a lot of room here. I think this much should be fine, I think it's about 1.5 inches or so. So I use my glue gun to put the little glue the batteries and the battery holder on the cylinder. So time has come to, you can see that it's wobbling or it's falling down. Time has come for me to glue this cylinder to the base. I have to decide where is the best place to do that. So I'm just going to use my pencil to draw or to trace. This would help me to, when I want to put this back, know where it should go back. Put a little bit of more glue because it's going to hold the cylinder and the battery. Press it for a few seconds and I have to decide which side is the front of my fan. So I would say this is the front, so this is the back of my fan, and again I will trace the cylinder. Put some glue at the bottom of your cylinder, then I would glue it nicely on the trace, on the line that I traced. Push it down for a few seconds, it will dry. I'm just going to go over the edges. Now my second disc, I'm going to run the two wires from the battery through this little hole that are in the disc. If you're using something else, you just have to make some kind of a hole. So before I continue, I would like to make sure that my motor is working, and it is. Now I can do two things now. Either make the connections to the motor first and then glue the disc, or glue the disc and make the connection. What I would prefer to do is make the connection to the motor first, because if I glue this and then for some reason these wires sort of fall into the cylinder, then I would have a little problem to retrieve them. Twist the strands of the wire to make them sort of like one big strand. Go through the terminals of the motor. If you can, just twist it maybe one time or so that the connection is secure. Now you notice that it was on, I turned it off. So the connection is done. If you have access to soldering, you could solder them. If not, you can just use some electrical tape and then tape it. It would be wise to tape it so that it will be secure. So I use a couple inches of electrical tape, tape my motor. I use a couple inches of electrical wire and I tape it on the connection between the wire and the motor. One last time, let's check to see if it's working, and it is. And now you can tape or use some glue on the cylinder all around it. Put the disc on the cylinder, hold it for a few seconds so that it keeps nice and secure. And as you guessed, the last part is to glue the motor. Now I would glue it a little bit, maybe halfway out, because you don't want to glue it too close to the cylinder. You don't want to glue it too far out because it may fall, but halfway out would be fine. Use a good amount of glue on the cylinder and glue your motor on. Hold it for a few seconds. Let's check it one more time. And this is working perfectly. Now this motor is turning counterclockwise. If you wanted to turn it clockwise, all you need to do, you can see that these terminals, these are the wires that are connected to the motor. Remove the tape and then put the red wire to the other terminal and then connect the black wire to this terminal, and then it will change the flow of the electricity and then it will go clockwise. That is a step 2. Now I am going to put these to a side, and then you can see that they look very similar to each other. Now last step for you is to decorate it, or if you like to decorate it, just basic decoration. These are some tiles that you can buy from dollar stores and you peel off and then you can put them on the side. These the tiles that I used. This is a ping pong ball that is cut in half. I thought it would be nice. I couldn't think of something else to put on so that it will cover the motor a little bit and then it would look nice. So I bought ping pong balls and then I used exactor knife to cut it in half, and then I put some googly eyes on it, a pom-pom. These are some little bears that you can buy from dollar stores as well, or you can use pom-poms, feathers, whatever you like, decorate it. You can put some yarns on the ping pong ball, and then for some hair, it's really up to you. But the basics of the science behind this one that is complete and this one that is almost complete is exactly the same. And then I hope you'll enjoy the air that is coming off from the fan. Enjoy making a table fan. Thank you for listening.